Hey, college entrepreneurs, how you doing? And welcome to the world of entrepreneurship and YouTube. Over the next several weeks, we're going to be learning the major content of the book via YouTube videos, as opposed to presenting PowerPoints in class. We've got lots of other things to do in class, and this is an efficient way to transfer the knowledge and vocabulary that you need to complete the class. So this first video is an introductory overview of Chapter 1, which is all about entrepreneurship. Now, there's a couple things that you need to be aware of when you watch these videos. First, the expectation is that you'll take excellent notes, and as with any YouTube video, you can stop it at any time. Make sure you've got complete notes taken. When you take your notes, you should take those online while you're watching again the video, and you should deposit those notes in your entrepreneurship folder on your shared drive. Similar to your paper notes, these notes will be graded as well, and they'll be important because after you watch each segment, the next day you'll be quizzed on that segment in class. So I know you're all going to do great. So let's get started. Okay, so we're talking about entrepreneurship, but let's start with what is an entrepreneur. And I know you all have ideas, certainly, what an entrepreneur looks like. And here's, in this particular graphic, is a great example of one of the most famous entrepreneurs of our time, Steve Jobs, who started Apple Computer. He epitomized what a classic entrepreneur is all about. And specifically, that means someone, an entrepreneur is an individual. It's not a team of people. It's not a corporation. It's one person, the Lone Ranger. And that person undertakes the creation of something from nothing. They undertake the organization to put a business in place. And then the last characteristic of an entrepreneur is they are the owner of the business. They have 100% ownership. So in summary, again, it's an individual who creates a business, who organizes a business, and someone who owns a business. Now, we talked about an entrepreneur, but the question is there a process to creating an entrepreneur type environment? And that process is called entrepreneurship. Now, entrepreneurship involves the process of recognizing an opportunity, and keep in mind what that word is all about, because we're going to be talking about it in the next slide. But once you have an opportunity in the entrepreneurship process, you'll test that in the market. You'll gather the resources necessary to go after that particular business. So entrepreneurship is recognizing opportunity, testing an opportunity, and gathering the resources necessary to go into business. But what is an opportunity? It's not exactly the definition shown here on the slide from the famous Chinese proverb, where in every crisis there is the seed of an opportunity. Although that may be true, it's probably a little less dramatic, where you could probably say in every problem there is the seed for an opportunity. But the real formal definition of an opportunity is an idea that has commercial value. A pie-in-the-sky idea that has no commercial value would not be considered an opportunity from an entrepreneur's standpoint or an entrepreneurship standpoint. The operative words are idea and the fact that you can make money out of it. It does have commercial value. Okay, probably a term you've heard several times spoken about in our class. What's a venture? A venture is typically associated with an entrepreneur and entrepreneurship, at least the term is, because what it represents is the startup of an entity from an idea, from an opportunity, to actually create an organization from the startup phase to create a business where you can make money, or something again that has commercial value. Okay, so that's a venture. We've talked a lot about making money, the opportunity to make money. That leads us to our next question, which is, what the heck is profit? Well, profit is the money you have left over after you paid all your expenses for running a business. So if we take an example of a simple candy business, if you went to Sam's Club and you bought 36 candy bars, that would cost you, a box of 36 candy bars would cost you approximately $18. Right? If you brought those back to school, as many clubs do, and you sold those candy bars for $1 each, you would, in essence, earn $36 in revenue. So if you take the revenue or sales of $36, you subtract your cost, which was the amount you paid at Sam's Club for those candy bars, approximately $18. You made $18 in profit. Again, that is the money left over after all expenses of running the business have been deducted from revenue. Okay, so entrepreneurship is the best example of how economics is applied on a smaller scale. But if we are to be using economic principles, which we'll be talking about in the next video, what the heck is economics? Well, the formal definition of economics is the study of how nations, individual countries, allocate scarce resources for the production and distribution of products. Companies, whether formally or informally, decide what areas they're going to specialize in. The United States, for instance, has exceptional agricultural resources. So agriculture is one of the areas that we specialize in as a country. We also have great computer technology resources in terms of the infrastructure to create computer businesses, whether they are hardware or software businesses. And as a result of that, those particular areas of high technology are areas that our country has decided to specialize in. It varies by country. I think I've mentioned to you, I've visited Costa Rica several times. Most of the bananas that we eat here in the United States come from Costa Rica. That's an area that they have decided to specialize in. But how do cities and states use economic principles to attract business and entrepreneurs to their particular areas? And one of the ways they do this is through the offering of or identification of enterprise zones. And you might say, well, Mr. Schwan, what's an enterprise zone? Well, specifically, an enterprise zone is something that's designed by a community to lure new businesses into that community. And the reason they do that is when new businesses come to a community, they typically create jobs. And when jobs are created, that means that people are earning salaries. And with those salaries, people will typically frequent the businesses in the area. So it tends to be a win-win. So some of these incentives might be actual interest-free loans for businesses to come into the area. They could be actual outright grants for businesses to come into the area. It's really something that an individual entrepreneur should be aware of, and something that they probably should take advantage of if they can when they are starting their business. All right, guys, we're pretty close to 10 minutes here. I'm going to cap it at this point, and I'll be giving you a quiz tomorrow morning. So please make sure you've taken great notes and you're prepared for the quiz when you come to class. Have a great night.